The moment someone tells you stop using the N-word and you're just like, no, it's a part of my vocabulary.
Hey lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. So lovelies, I came by this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to share with you guys where this white woman was saying, counseling European white people about black people. Guys, I'm just gonna roll the clip as well as the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes, guys. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into the video.
Talk about the N-word for a second. Which N-word? I'm American. There's only one N-word. And something that I've noticed in the last 8 years living in France is that the N-word is treated very differently in France than it is in the US. This makes sense given the US's history with slavery and that word. Whereas for French people, exposure to that word primarily comes through popular movies and music. And at the end of the day, even though the word is the same thing, it doesn't seem to carry the same weight here. And so people just say it. And when I mean people, I mean like my coworkers used to say this like it was not a problem, and I was like, hi, please don't ever say that around me. Like, that's not okay. Anyway, when a song is unedited and is playing in a public place, I find that kind of amusing as an American because that's not something we ever see back home. Songs are always radio edits when they're in public places. But I just saw a post from the Paris 2024 account making a video with a song using that word not once but 3 times on their official account. And I totally get that French people seeing this video are not gonna bat an eye. But as an American seeing that video, I had to like triple check that this was on the official Paris Olympics account. Because I feel like somebody should tell them that like for a global audience, that word is like not something that should be in like promotional materials of any kind. So, I don't know, maybe like private that post, maybe take it down completely forever and find a different song to put with that. Just find it very weird, Paris 2024. And if you ever need like a cross-cultural consultant to help you out with some social posts, like drop me a message. I can say like, yes, this is appropriate, or no, this is not. But that one is like a pretty easy hard pass 100% of the time. Don't use that word in your official videos. It's not a good look. Can we talk?
So she goes on to talk about how the French just use the N-word very liberally. And I'm going to tell a story to the embarrassment of a French friend of mine, but I love you, buddy. Anyhow, I went to college, a college that had a sister school in France, some school in Louisiana, right? And so every year we would have a number of French exchange students. I lived in like the dorms, French quarter, because I was like minoring in French or something like that. And there's this one girl who came in one year, and she's really great person, right? And we were sitting there. It's literally the first week of her being there. She was big into hip hop. Hip hop was a big part of the way that she like started learning English. It was like me, 2 other black students, and her, and Lord Pretty Flacco Jody from A$AP Rocky was on, and I was like, oh fuck, I love this song. And we were in there, and she hit every N-word. And then she like got up and went to her dorm room, and me and the other 2 students, we were like, yo, someone has to tell her. And we were sitting there, we were like, yo, like, I don't think that she knows. Like, we were sitting there, and I was like, well, you were her roommate. You gotta tell her. Like, and she was like, no, I don't have to tell her. Y'all tell her. You're the one who blah, 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 blah. I think I ended up being the one that was like, yo, like, hey, I know it's probably different in France. You can't say that shit here. She was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She freaked out. But yeah, apparently in France, they just, I mean, from what I know about France, it's a little racist. From what I can understand, if you're a black American in France, you're going to be okay. Because they have like this whole fantasy about like how they're better than the US and like how the black artists always come over there. But from what I know, if you're like African, if you're Muslim, they don't really... Like, I feel like specifically, they don't have slurs for black people directly, but they do have slurs for black Muslims and Muslims. They have like a bunch of different slurs for communities of Muslim people and slurs for Arab people as well. I think that's where like France racism is centrally located. But I guess Black Americans are an exception for some reason.
So if you haven't seen that video, it's talking about how French people are really desensitized to the word and use it colloquially because it's in the music they listen to and they don't have the history with it. But I want to add some nuance and get a conversation going with how do you have a word that is in some forms of media, and some people can say it and some not. How do we continue that? Context, I was a homeschooler. I didn't listen to I listened to a lot of pop music and Christian music. But it wasn't until I was 16 and I went to a talk at my school, my college campus, that was about the problem with the N-word on campus for class credit, where I discovered what the N-word was. Honestly, I'd heard it, I'd read it in books, and those books where they have the little caption that says, "This is not a word that we normally use, and this book talks about things in a way that we wouldn't, but we left it in for historical context." But I didn't know what they were talking about, and I had to ask somebody after the talk what word they were talking about, so I made sure I didn't use it. But I think that this issue that she's talking about with French people using it is the same issue that I had if it's only ever used by horrible people in bad contexts, or by Black people, by people who use it colloquially, like women use bitch. How do children or people who aren't in those nations learn that it's not a word they're supposed to use? Learn the nuance and the context of it if, as we're working towards a society where people wouldn't use it badly, it's only ever used in a friendly kind of way. But people with my skin tone, and I understand it, I'm not saying I should get to use it, but I shouldn't be using it. How should 16-year-old me have known? How should French people know? How should people who don't hear the horrible context and don't need to be educated on it. Hey, the dogs are barking. If they don't need to be educated on it young because horrible people around them aren't using it, how do you teach people that? How are we supposed to learn this? It's an interesting conversation because when you use words with this dichotomy of it's a slur if you say it and it's friendly if I say it, how do people who aren't hearing it as the slur, which hopefully happens more and more, how do people who aren't hearing it as a slur know they can't say it? It's just interesting. I'd love to hear anyone's thoughts on this.
Girl's talking about how the N-word is just thrown around like crazy within French culture. And her coworkers even use the N-word. Who gave these Europeans the right to be obnoxious every single time an American makes a video critiquing their culture? Americans, we get to decide how American culture is used. We get to decide. I don't understand why Europeans tend to just completely not understand the concept of we get to dictate how our culture is used. Except when it comes to other European cultures. Or if it comes to Japanese culture, it's all about respect. It's all about, well, it's different. But when it comes to Americans, they all hate us. Not just Europeans. Everybody hates Americans, even though half these people don't even have the right to hate America. If you guys know anything about history, for example, America rebuilt Europe after World War II. And this reminds me of a funny moment I had when I went to this old person's house when I was working at my sales job. I sit down and I see this old guy sitting there. He's 90 years old. Old man, okay? I think he was older, actually. I think he was 97. But he was an old man and he starts telling me about how he's going to Europe. But then he starts ranting about how much he hates Europeans because, a lot of our men died. They don't give us that respect. And I was like, damn, you really got me thinking. I see it online too. What you guys did for their grandfathers, but their grandfathers clearly taught them to hate Americans or something because they still hate on us. We've done a lot for Europe, yet Europeans still hate us and still talk trash on us. They don't respect our culture. They don't respect our values. They don't respect our opinion on our music, but they will appropriate our music. I don't care who you are. If you're French and you're over here making rap music, you're a culture vulture. The British are culture vultures. All of the Europeans are culture vultures. And this doesn't just extend for the Black culture in Europe. It also extends just for the general American culture. They are all vultures, yet they don't even respect us. They don't even like us. It's not your word. You guys aren't in America. You know, I got called the N-word like 4 times as a kid, bro. Like by random people. Like one time I was at Sonic with my friend. Some guy screamed at me. But now guess what? Some European gets to use the N-word willy-nilly, all at work and whatever with his colleagues. You know, guess who's in Paris? You know what I'm saying? What even is going on in this society anymore? So at the end of the day, I don't like Europeans. If you're European and watching this video, and you're a woman specifically who's attracted to me, this isn't about you, okay? This ain't about you. This is about everybody else. But yeah, Europe, do better. Do better, Europe. Thank you.
Section in this video taught me all you need to know about an overwhelming majority of Europeans. Now I know people get upset whenever someone makes generalizations about Europe and whatever, but unfortunately it's that like they're probably kind of racist. Ooh, shocker. People hate the racist word. But it's true. If you can't find it in your heart of heart to understand why non-black people are using the N-word as bad, then you're a racist. The phone call coming from inside the house. And I don't want this BS cultural relevancy. Well, like culturally, no. No, because it doesn't matter where you go on the globe, the N-word means the same thing. It does. It does. There's no, you can't apply cultural relevancy to the N-word because it just means what it means no matter where you go. And so, yeah, an American living in Paris hearing people say the N-word is crazy. And her seeing the official Olympics page use a song that has the N-word in it is crazy. Because as she so aptly pointed out, in America, stuff like that is censored. So if you want to talk about cultural relevancy, apply it to her and think about her. Right? But even beyond that, in your heart of hearts, you know that that's racist, and you know that there are probably people in your own country who you oppress or are prejudiced against because of their cultural identity or their race. Like, I'm gonna call a spade, and I don't want pissy Europeans in my comment section talking about, oh, you can't generalize. Well, if you can get up in a comment section about an American living in Paris talking about how racism is an issue and act like it's not an issue, then I get to generalize. You're racist.
Can we talk about the N?
She goes on to talk about how the N-word in France is used very loosely because people don't really know the weight of the word. And for the Paris 2024 official account on TikTok, they used a song with the N-word in it repeated amount of times. Versus in like the United States, it would have been very censored. The whole funny thing about that video is that the comments, just awful. It's just people not taking her seriously, you know, them saying, hey, American here. We say it in America too. And the only reason I find it funny is because it's like another big F you to black people. Just another big middle finger in our face. It's just like a cultural shock to her. Because like when I was listening to her say it, I was like, this makes sense in my eyes. Like not the fact that these people are actually like using the word and not caring about the history of it. It's just, it makes sense. It's on brand for the world. I'm gonna say this to the death of me. Black people don't belong anywhere. Ever. There will never be a place and never be a corner where we are not hated and shamed. Bye.
So lovely. She is actually a white, American woman who is living in Europe, Europe that happens to be, a European country that's in France. So she came up to talk about how the N-word is being used commonly in Europe, compared to how it's been censored in America. And this actually keep her wondering on why is it that these people do not even know the weight of what they use. Like they use it anywhere in their platforms, social medias, in parties they play, some kind of music that has to do with this and words everything, and they say it, multiple times over and over and over again. And this got her a little bit of worry because even in her own workplace, people tend to use it as if it's something that is so common. They don't know the impact of this word. They don't know what it all signifies, or maybe they know, but how these people works, how it is, they just want to use it anyway because at least they do not care whatsoever you guys feel about it. So this actually got her thinking as an American woman who she is. So sometimes when her colleagues at work uses the words, she sometimes cancel them. She try as much as she can to cancel them, telling them how these words are so so weird to say, how these words is being like it's something that you don't need to say. And because of this, she decided to come up here to tell us and ask us if we don't find this weird, like, she told her story on how people, use these words anyhow in France, particularly European countries. And a lot of people, which I actually stitched, the videos were actually, trying to like agree that, yeah, they also notice stuff like this, and this is because, a lot of the colonial masters who, happens to also come from European countries and as well, they do not care. They do not care about, how we feel, what is it about us. Like, they chose to like use it anyways, even if it has a weight, or it has, it has been cancelled so many, and so they don't care how you will feel about it. And if we feel so offended, that is just left for us. So this is just something that, it's just all over the world. These people will just keep on doing whatsoever they so pleases. They don't care about how you feel about it. They don't care about how you go about it. What they know is that they will continue using whatsoever they pleases them. And especially in Europe, they see these things like, black people have been subjected, they have been subjected, and majority in Europe, they don't even care how you feel about it. So it's something that they use carelessly. It's something that they don't, care about how how you feel about it. The main thing is that this way and sense of a thing is actually everywhere. Black people have been humiliated all over the world. They've been humiliated, and they will continue to be humiliated. One thing about the ones in, when I say American and all that, they call them out. Like when something like a racial, slurs and all of that, and when this kind of thing happens, they call them out. They call these people out. But in other places, it's something that, most of all these black people, they just have to like deal with it through the rest of their life. They are just tired of complaining, because the more they complain, the more these people don't even care, the more they keep on using it. I was talking to a friend who happens to, live somewhere in Germany. So she was actually telling me an encounter she had. So this friend of mine, actually, invited her mom over for maybe a holiday or something. So this mom of hers decided to go out for a stroll, and and just to catch up with the whatsoever that took her there. So she was like telling me what her mom actually told her, that when the mom went out to just catch a fresh, air and all of that, she decided to like, okay, get something to sit down. So she sat down. Then there is a white woman beside her who actually stood up. And just imagine, someone was just sitting on her own, like a white European woman was just sitting. Then her mother decided to just get something to just also sit in the same place that this white man was actually sitting. Immediately she sat down, this white woman decided to stand up. Then she started speaking German, started speaking how, started speaking like as if, oh my God, what is, like, you know how it is. So this is something that like many of black people all over the world have experienced, but just that they got tired of complaining. They got tired of calling them out. They just have to like deal with it. They have to do with it. This thing that everyone is facing in America, so far you are a black person, you must face oppression. That is how it is. No matter where you are, even if you are in Europe, even if you're in a European country, even if you're in America, even Asian country, anywhere you are, so far as you're wearing this, wearing a black color, like you're a black person, you must be oppressed. You must be treated like someone. Like, this is just what black people need to deal with all over the world. It does not apply only in the USA. Like, black people all over the world experience this. I have seen so many experience from, especially in Europe. In Europe, the rate of rape in Europe is just alarming. Like, this is just alarming. This is just something you see. in America, all of that is just, sometimes it's once or but the rate at it's so alarming. Like when this my friend was just telling me about, her mom and all of that, I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like she practically needs to stand up. I was like, why is it that your mom didn't even capture this? Because I need to react to this. She was like, oh my god, the mom came back, was like, she was feeling so, when someone sees you as like a trash, like, oh my goodness, seriously. And this is what most of these black people go through. They go through all, like, black people all over the world have to deal with it. This is just something we just need to do with. We just need to keep advocating for it until when we get our stand, until when we are treated right, until when we are treated the way we are supposed to be treated. Like, just come on. Like, I wasn't even impressed that a white woman actually cancelled her fellow for trying to use search. Like, this actually tells me that I think the world is going to be a better place someday. If not now, it might probably take a long time, or it might probably take, constant, calling out people that does this, or constant trying to educate people, or constant trying to top. Like, I just hope that, like, if people like her can actually come out and spill this, try to cancel her fellow for trying to do this, the world will be a better place. This still up, like, implies, I want to imply this with what actually happened with this Amazon driver that I was still I'm still talking about her today, because this girl have not gotten justice to date. This woman happens to be an Amazon black driver, decided to do her regular businesses, deliver stuff, and a Karen she met on her way to deliver the parcel that is meant for a client decided to start calling her names, decided to start using racial slurs on her, even when physical with her. Then comes another Karen who was supposed to cancel her fellow Karen for doing such thing to a black woman, but no, she decided to join hands to try to oppress this black lady, because of her, she was another black lady. Like, she's a black lady. And I was just thinking to myself, what if this person was just a white person that is delivering this package? Are they going to do the same thing to her? Are they? So that's why when this woman was like, oh my god, I was in Paris, the way they use the N-word, and I would try to tell them to stop using this word, it's not right. I would just comment her to actually, for her to actually say something like that. It's a very good it's kind of a positive thing. This makes me feel that, yeah, a lot of people are beginning to realize what being oppressed feels like. If you have never felt oppression, or felt being raped and sis towards, oh my god, you don't know what God have done for you. Like seriously, it's a very horrible feeling. It's a very horrible feeling, horrible experience, and all of that. Like, seriously, lovelies, it's not nice. You will just feel so bad. Your whole existence, your body will just leave you. It's it's a very bad feeling. So if they can just keep on trying to correct some kind of negativity and all of that, I think the world might be a better place. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and do not forget that we do not support any form of violence or whatsoever. We're just here for education and purpose. So please share this video, subscribe to my channel if you're yet to do that, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one. Leave me your own sense in the comment section of what you think of this video, and do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or worse. We're just here for educational, informative purposes, guys. Please share this video, subscribe if you're yet to do that, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload my next one.